And my presentation today is actually one of the solutions for Dr. Sherzinsky's presentation. And I will share with you how I share science through my social media, how I communicate urban soil problems and solutions to a general public. One of my key objectives for the research is lead children exposure. Lead is a toxic, is a very toxic metal, and in the US it's a still huge problem. 4 million children, 4 million actually households have children that are exposed to lead, and it can come from water, soil, or lead paint. Lead was banned in 1978 in the US, but the problem is still there because the old paint is chipping off the walls, some lead pipes is still leaded pipes, and the soil accumulated all of this traffic, gasoline from the traffic, and paint from the walls. So lead poisoning is a big issue because it affects cognitive development of children. It causes their brain development problems with them, and even can decrease IQ and cause potential behavior and physical health issues. So what is one of the solutions to it is to identify those hotspots where we potentially have a high contamination of lead, arsenic, cadmium, copper, many different metals. I will focus on the lead today. So soil testing is one of the ways how we can bring attention of the public to this issue, but also hopefully remediate it to make it safe areas for children to play and gardens to grow their food. And we do it by identifying the problem and then proposing recommendations how to remediate this environment. And how we do this? By educating communities. I previously lived in New York City where we worked a lot with communities, so I brought this experience down to Acadiana, the region in Louisiana where I currently live. And we create together with my students lots of different community events, or we participate in the community events on a city level. And this informs the communities, especially parents, about choices what they can do with their homes, with their backyard, with the land use, with gardening and recreational activities of their children. When people are empowered, they can actually advocate for themselves to have a cleaner and healthier urban environments. So what exactly we do? We do lots of workshops, training sessions for teachers, for residents, parents, and green industry professionals, landscape designers, contractors, landscape architects, and others. We distribute educational materials, infographics, it also mentioned in the previous presentation, different online resources, brochures. And we collaborate with local organizations, schools, local government, and of course federal governments, because that's who they fund us. And through modern communication channels, we can really achieve good results. So 3 years ago, I built the Delta Urban Soils Lab. And together with my undergraduate, graduate, and PhD students, you can use your phones to screen this QR code if you like, and to see what our lab looks like and who is in my research group. So together with my students, we focus on 4 pillars: environmental stewardship, community engagement, sustainability, and science communication. Through environmental stewardship, we help find contamination in Lafayette, Louisiana, out of state. Anyone in the country can actually send their samples to us, and we'll provide report with a simple interpretation and explanation what they can do or should do if soil found in bad condition. Bad meaning for children or for gardening. We typically identify what problem they have. And we recommend them best remediation techniques. We also promote organic waste recycling, conservation practices, and use of smart technologies to evaluate soil resources. We offer informal education, as I mentioned, through social media, but also publish articles not only in academic journals, but in non-academic magazines to reach broader audience, and also, of course, facilitate research partnerships. We recommend the management practices outside just remediation for heavy metals, but also how we can increase carbon storage and reduce greenhouse gases, promote urban agriculture is also a big part of my overall research. We do it collaborating with citizens, with the artists, biologists, eco-artists, ecologists, potters, because they all care about soil from different perspectives and they would like to learn more. So create these workshops that are really fun for communities. And one of the main instruments that I use, X-ray fluorescent analyzer, portable one. How many of you used it? Do you know what I'm talking about? Yes? Okay, quite a few, but it's really a great instrument. It gives us good results, accurate results in express fast method. When you can screen soil, you can see in the field or on surface in the soil profile or in the lab. For the most accurate results, samples should go through some preparation stages and we measure them in the lab. But since it gives us result within a minute or a minute and a half, we can actually get really good results and send them quicker to our clients and also use them for mapping. So all my students go through this training, but also give them a great opportunity because there are lots of jobs out there with looking for XRF technicians. And not just in soil science, but also in geology, in mining, and other areas where XRF is actually used more commonly. So it gives them additional resume item. My undergrad students are very active in sampling, and all my courses, I integrate them in our activities. So you can see the mixing soil samples in a new park that Lafayette built 2 years ago, but a lot of samples actually came from their own residences. It's really important to connect, and it's better for them to bring their soil and be interested in what's in their backyard rather than just me giving them a random sample. So creating this special connection, really unique angle. And they bring samples from their homes, from their parents' home, from their neighbors, friends, and we build this database over this few semesters that I've been doing it, together with my master students who oversees undergraduate students, and the master student shares the results with PhD students who are working on related issues. So it's a really network of students who participate in these really cool projects, collecting samples, analyzing them in lab conditions during the course, and then presenting them in the story maps. So I asked them to make the presentations in a story map instead of a PowerPoint, which is another cool way to use it. So here's one of the preliminary maps for soil lead concentration, and we can see we still have lots of work to do to collect samples in more like in other areas of the city, but what we start seeing is that we have lots of hot spots, red spots, and high concentration of lead in all the part of the town as expected, but it also has a very high concentration of unprivileged communities, mostly African Americans. And their homes are very old, they built before 1970, and they're chipping off paint a lot. So these areas that exist in downtown and the northern part of Lafayette. Officially, there is no racial segregation, but when you drive through the neighborhood, you can actually see that areas predominantly reside by African Americans, and the south part, the recently developed area, which is like last 20 years, maybe 30, is probably white Americans. So one of my PhD students actually working on this environmental injustice issue and also correlates the contamination data to socioeconomic status. And sometimes we get requests to sample very detailed on the block scale. And the reason why they do this is because they want to build a community garden and they want to know what's in that area. So we go, we collect the samples, or we bring XRF gun with us, the analyzer, and we measure. And what we see here, the concentrations are very variable. It's just the lead here, and just on a small plot, the concentration varies, which tells us that this urban soil is very heterogeneous, and it's important to do like a large number of sampling to get a better representation of what's in the soil, rather than just have one representative sample and run it on ICP-MS, which would give us better result, but with XRF, your result may be slightly accurate, but because you can cover such a big land, it gives us better overview of what the contamination actually looks like. So some examples of how I reach audience, a broader public audience through and share research with them. It's actually participating in different soil workshops that are created during local festivals, art walk. Lafayette, Louisiana in general, they're very artsy, and we often invited to have a table or booth. So we have an opportunity to actually educate children. They can paint with a soil paint while we're talking to their parents and tell them what they should do and send the samples to us. So it's really a great way to engage to both generations, because if children are interested, parents will be interested as well. And I'm sure those who of you are parents, you know what I'm talking about. So kids love looking at microscopes, they love getting their hands dirty, so I made this box for them so they can open the different drawers and see what's inside, different textures, different colors. It's really fun for them. And to make this science accessible, we create different infographics so people can get the access, very easy access to this information, how to collect the samples or what to do when there is a contamination, what are the strategies. In my previous research in New York, I've noticed that the people see academic journals as an obstacle. One, they can't access them very often, and two, the language is so complicated, so no one can read 20 pages of terminology if they don't have science background. So they don't want to test because they don't know how to deal with it afterwards. So to break this barrier, we need to make sure we can teach them, educate them in a layperson language, and translate our science in non-academic journals, like publishing in magazines, like professional magazines. This is an example of a landscape design magazine when I published some simple ways how we can remediate soil samples. Those who want to study more, they will have interest, and then they can learn more. But at least we can grab their attention. There's a simple steps, something they can do. I'll also be proponent of interviews on different podcasts, and I'm publishing an ebook that is based off our recent article with Maxine in the chapter of the Soil Encyclopedia. Many of you also published articles as well, and provide some free guides, longer versions like 10 pages more, for those who want to learn about some other strategies in the detail. So those are different ways how we can translate science and make it more accessible. If you would like to learn more projects, you can look at my website, Paltseva.com, or Delta Urban Soils Lab. But I also, back to the previous presentation, is actually I do have a YouTube channel where some of you, Jean-Louis, Maxine, Hermine, and some other people that you know give guest lectures to my class, so from all over the world. And we would record them and then put them on YouTube so anyone in the world can actually access them. Because in many countries, they still don't have access to journals or even textbooks. And having this free resource to learn from world-class resources right there, describing the newspapers before even it's published, it's super exciting. So they are advanced in their knowledge as well. And take it to the next level, Instagram. So I teach urban soils through my personal stories, through my life as a scientist, as a professional, as a female scientist, where I published different blog posts through my personal lens. And it's very resonates with the younger generation, general public who are not scientists. And they found it very entertaining or interesting, or sparked some research ideas, because I had that as well. How many of you are actually on TikTok or Instagram? Imagine, see, like 3 or 4. Imagine if we all had an account and you share your awesome results on one of those platforms. How about we have a challenge, and by the end of SWITMA conference, each of you will have one of those accounts. And you don't have to put your face on it if you don't want to. You can show your hands, you can show other people's research. There's so many ways how you can present your data if you're shy to be on camera. And I'm happy to share with you during our coffee breaks how to do that. But talking about the solutions, right? TikTok, YouTube, but we can do it, like why not? All of you doing amazing work, and this should be shared with the public. And one of the last few pieces I would like to mention, very exciting for me, I'm publishing finally the Urban Soil Guide Field and Lab Manual that both Maxine and Jean-Louis have been edited and helped me to bring it back to life. So after a few years, pandemic had its imprint on it, but I signed a contract with Springer, and once it's out, I will be sure to share with you, and maybe you can adapt it in your classes if you teach urban soils. So in a nutshell, I take academic university science and through student engagement in classrooms, internships, research opportunities, partnership with the local and federal governments, local organizations, professionals in green industry, we create different workshops for parents, for kids, participate in different art activities to attract people's attention, because they will be there anyway looking at some painting and art, but it's really cool to see the soil diversity, and it's our opportunity to grab their attention and teach them. And of course, I will share this on my social media. And some key points is that urban soils is important, and it's important to test for contaminants in many different variables, of course. My specialty is contamination, so I'd like to emphasize that. There are different remediation options that are available for people to adopt, and we can make them easy to understand, which is the key ingredient here. Social media and community engagement is a powerful tool to do that. And as we delve into the conference, I would like to remind you that every challenge is an opportunity, and every problem is the potential for groundbreaking solutions. So we are not just studying the earth, we are shaping its future. Thank you.